So, I thought I would come here and create a series about some of the things that we have been told that have been framed as like a positive on our fertility journey, but in actual fact, kind of has screwed us over. And I really wanted to just speak to the fact that if someone is giving you advice, or if you are cherry picking advice that you're hearing on a podcast or reading in a book, etc., and you don't have the context to what you're reading, or the person that's giving you the advice doesn't have the context to your situation, really, they can be giving you a positive or negative remark that's going to steer you in the complete wrong direction. So, on this journey, we have done 2 egg retrievals, and each time I was due to get quite a fair amount of eggs. The first time my egg retrieval failed because I didn't respond to the trigger shot. I was supposed to have 26 eggs. I had 26 follicles and I ended up with 0. The second time, I was supposed to have 17 eggs. I think they took 13. They left some behind because they didn't want to make me bleed anymore because I had a hemorrhage. And 10 of those fertilized, and then we had 6 to freeze by the end of it. Now, when I asked, everyone was like, oh, 6 is a great number. All you need is 1. And that's number 1, the first issue that I have, because people like to say that, and I understand that it comes from a good place. All you need is 1. But if that embryo isn't of a good quality, it doesn't matter how many you have. And then 2, when people would talk about what your embryos are graded at, and I know grading can be a little bit hit or miss. Some people say it matters, some people say it doesn't, and it's subjective based off of the person who's viewing it. But you can't see DNA fragmentation in an embryo. You can have a euploid embryo that has high DNA fragmentation that won't result in a viable pregnancy. And this is the other thing, people will say to me, well, did you get them PGT tested or PGTA? You can't see DNA fragmentation on a PGT tested embryo. We didn't get our embryos tested, and I'm thanking God that we didn't, because it would have just been completely wasted money, because you can't see DNA fragmentation, from my understanding, on a PGT test. So these are things that I wish I knew before, because I feel like they gave us a false sense of security that I feel screwed us, because there's been so many things that I'm now realizing that if, for example, if my husband's DNA fragmentation was super bad, and if my egg quality wasn't good, we wouldn't have made embryos, and that would have triggered us to think something else is wrong here. But because his DNA fragmentation is bad to the point where it wouldn't have got us pregnant naturally, and because my egg quality is good to the point where it's repaired some of the DNA damage from my husband, but it's not good enough to the point where it will heal the embryo to the point where it will make it a viable pregnancy, it has just left us falling between the cracks at so many different stages of our journey that it's accumulated to the perfect storm, where there were certain things that gave us a false sense of security that actually were screwing us completely over.